Hello, Taurus. Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your reading for mid-August 2019. It's a check-in reading. We're looking at the energies that you're moving through for the rest of the month. And so I'm using a spread that I posted about over on Instagram. If you don't follow me, it's at Unseen Hands Healing. So go find me on Instagram. I posted this spread about the shift that I feel is occurring collectively, astrologically, especially this shift from July into August, and even the shift through the mid-month of August is pretty massive. We've got Mercury coming out of its shadow and moving into Leo. We've got Jupiter moving direct, Uranus starting to retrograde. So we've got a lot of shifting happening, and I anticipate feeling that forward momentum starting to build up. And August is always such a transition month anyway. So I created this spread, which is essentially shape shifting. It feels so much like we are all shifting our shape collectively, and that is manifesting in each of our lives individually in different ways. And so here's how it's showing up for you, Taurus. It's going to look something like this. The shape that you are shifting out of, the shape that you are shifting into, and what that shift looks like or feels like in your life. So before I get into this, I do just want to talk a little bit about what came through as I was meditating in your cards. I'm just getting back in touch with it because there was a very specific... So I felt so much conflicted energy. I felt like there was this larger, almost parental type figure. And then I saw you sort of running into their body and then being absorbed by them. It's like, and you know, it was very parental, sort of holistically parental energy, like very large, with a very sort of comforting energy that you were moving towards, with very strong structure. It was like all of the things that we think of when we think of parent energy, and you were running towards this energy, and then it's almost like it engulfed you. And then when you were engulfed by it, there was this like, then I felt that like rage. It was a very similar rage that I felt from your beginning of August reading, that like just rage. Whatever group of Taurus folks that I'm picking up on, I believe that this is a continuation of that reading. So if you're Taurus and you've been listening to me and you know that in the beginning of August, that reading was not for you, you know, check in and see if this feels more resonant. But if it does not resonate, click off, like go somewhere else, because I don't want you to pick up on energies that aren't yours to have. Okay. Since this is a collective reading, I'm not reading for every single Taurus out there, but I am reading for a specific few of you, and you know, many of us spoke after the last reading in August. So hi again, here we are. So after you were engulfed by this parental energy, I felt a lot of rage. And it was really confusing, because the rage felt like it was like, it wasn't channeled. It was a bit directed everywhere. You know, it was like you were raging for being engulfed by that parent energy, yet also raging that parent isn't supporting you, like that parental energy isn't supporting you in the way that you want it to, and yet you're also raging that it's like surrounding or engulfing you in some sort of way. It like feels like that struggle between individuation and wanting to just like go your own way and be on your own and be your own support system, while also raging that you have to do that. like raging that you have to be your own support system when you want to be taken care of. That's what I felt like. I felt like as you were running towards this parental energy, you were like, take care of me. And then it engulfed you, and then you were like, oh shit, I need to take care of myself. And you were mad about that. I don't know. It's a little hard to suss through, but that's what I felt. And so that's actually really congruent with then the cards that I pull. So the way I do this, I meditate on the energy and then I pull the cards, and it's just like so funny to see what comes out. So the very first thing is fire, and this is the energy that you are shifting out of. Fire, that rage. I feel like you are shifting out of all of this rage, just sort of like blazing. And you are shifting into water. I mean, God, the cards, you can't even write this stuff. It's so beautiful. You're shifting out of fire and into its opposite, water. Into flow, into a different way of expressing your emotions. And I often feel with this water card that it's like the avalanche coming down, like the landslide. The iceberg breaking and everything rushing down. But it feels less, it almost feels like the fire gets so big that it has to break. It's like blazing so hard that at some point it has to break. And that's when like everything, it heats up this frozen emotion. Whatever is like frozen, whatever sadness is underlying that anger, whatever hurt is underlying that anger that has been like frozen in time, that anger heats things up so much that the iceberg then starts to melt and everything just rushes. That's the shift that I'm seeing. And that happens through this progression: Queen of Swords, Three of Swords, and Death. It's not literal death. I'm not feeling literal death. It feels, this card is a card of transformation, a symbol for transformation. But here's that transformation process. And the message I got when I saw these three cards, especially the Three of Swords with the Queen of Swords, I heard, break your own heart. You need to break your own heart. So I think this is a continuation by Coconut. I'm dog sitting. I think this is a continuation of whatever story I've been picking up on of someone that needs to move on from a relationship that is not serving you. It's like this is you moving on from that. This is you realizing whatever you needed to realize about what was going on in that relationship, and like, your rage came out, you lit shit up, you just like lit that on fire. And then the transition is like the Queen of Swords, which is, I believe, you coming into your own truth. Is that sword on top of the head, and then we've also got the owl. Wisdom, being able to see clearly. It's like you now can see very clearly. This figure has a veil over everything except the eyes. The eyes can see clearly, so you see the situation clearly for what it is. The clouds are parted. You know what you have to do, and you know what's going on, and you know, more importantly, your inner truth and what you need. The Queen of Swords is a fierce protector of her heart. The Queen of Swords protects that internal space, protects that landscape. By knowing what you need, you can advocate for what you need, but first you have to know. And so here I see you getting very clear on your needs in this situation. And I think I feel you taking action with this Three of Swords. You know, the Three of Swords is energy that came out in your August reading as well, I believe, of feeling betrayed. I just saw 1111. Feeling betrayed, feeling really hurt, feeling really heartbroken. This is swords in the heart. Swords in the heart. And now this could be a current situation that you're experiencing this in, some sort of relationship or job. It could also be past hurts. Because I did, you know, in that meditation, I did feel that parental familial energy. But whatever it is, it's like you're finally, and maybe that energy, maybe it's both, you know, maybe it's like the rage that you feel from whatever upbringing or whatever like parental imprinting has happened through, you know, it happens to all of us as we are raised and as we are reared by other people who are also imperfect, you know. So whatever you've got from that upbringing perhaps is being brought out by whatever current heartbreak situation that you are experiencing. And so, but I've heard very specifically, you taking action with this Three of Swords means breaking your own heart, unfortunately. Sometimes advocating for your truth and advocating for what you know you need and what you know is right for you does mean breaking your own heart. And God, it hurts so bad when you have to do that. It is really the worst pain. It's almost worse. Having to do that is almost worse than like having your heart broken. Having to do that to yourself takes incredible strength. But it is what needs to happen in order for a transformation, for your transformation, for a transformation in this situation. Because here we have the Death card looking over here at the Three of Swords, saying it's time. We have the hourglass. We have an arrow pointing that direction. It's like ready to strike. You know, the time is now to end this. The time is now to transform these swords that have been in your heart, that have been stuck in there. The time is now to transform your being from this constant feeling of rage and anger and hurt and frustration into, and then letting that landslide happen, letting the emotions flow and flood so that there can be peace. Because the energy I feel from this is like this landslide, and it does just like create the ocean, like it causes some woo in the water, and then but then I don't see like a tidal wave for you. I see like more of like once the ice breaks, it's like, and then the water settles and is fuller than it was before, but it's settled. I feel a much more settled energy here with the water. Okay. So I want to pull a card here, an oracle card from the liminal space postcards. Because I think, you know, August is such a liminal time. It is such a transitional time, and this whole spread is about the shape that you are shifting into. And while that shift is occurring, it can feel like you are very much in this liminal, unknown, difficult limbo. So as I pull one of these cards for you, I do just want to let you know that I'm going to do an extended video on this. So if this is your situation and if this is resonating with you very strongly, there's a link down below to follow me onto Patreon or Instagram, where you can get in touch with me and choose your options for viewing the extended video. In the extended, I'm going to take some more cards here to figure out where we go from here. Once that landslide breaks, once that iceberg of your emotions breaks and floods in and we get a little bit of stillness, what happens next? how do you move forward from how does the shape continue to shift? Because we never just shift from one shape to another. It's one shape to another, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. So we're going to take a few more cards here to see what happens next. We're also going to take some clarity from the Aquarian Tarot on this situation as it stands. Right, and then we'll probably take some more liminal cards. But let's just, for those of you who are not going to follow me on to the extended, I want you to get a liminal space card, because I think that they tend to be incredibly wise and insightful into the situation. Yeah. So the card that we got here is mood. And that, I mean, come on. You know, that's this shift, because we're dealing the 2 elemental cards. There are only 4 in the entire deck, and 2 came out for you. So this is very much about your emotions. This is very much about an emotional shift for you and how your emotions are currently informing your experience in a really intense way. So as we look at this mood card, I do want to read it for you, because the words of the creators, and I'll link this down below, are just really spot on. Okay. Change the vibe. Yeah, change the vibe from fire to water. Change the vibe. Indulge your sensory experiences, Taurus. A good meal or a walk in the woods will change your resonance, if only slightly. While seemingly arbitrary, a simple shift will alter the larger course of things. Okay, if that isn't a specific Taurian message, I don't know what is. All right, so if you are experiencing this mood where you are in that fire vibe and or whatever vibe you're in, and you want that shift to occur, you've got to make the shift. Go for a walk. Go eat some delicious food. Go try something new. Go to a float tank. Like whatever. Give yourself a sensory experience that is going to change your physical body in some way, and that will help to shift your mood, because I do see that you are going through some major stuff right now, and it is deeply emotional, and it is really hard, but you are working on getting a handle of this internal mental space. And in order for you to stay clear as you move through this massive transformation, getting a handle on the tides of your emotions is key. And that does not mean controlling your emotions, because I should say that in the meditation, something that came out right after, because after you were engulfed by that, like, I keep wanting to say daddy energy, but it's not gender specific. I want to be very clear about that, because this was not like a father figure. This was parental energy, and I felt very much both energies that we call parental, mother and father, you know what I mean? I felt those both archetypes and many others present within this type of parental power. But I did kind of hear a struggle about being your own daddy, which is just like a cultural phrase that we use all the time. And so that did come forth. But as I was being engulfed by this energy, and I felt your rage inside at like having to be independent in that way, and like wanting to be taken care of in this way, I felt my jaw just like clenching in that rage. And then as soon as I came up out of the meditation, my jaw popped so intensely. Okay, so when I talk about controlling your emotions, that's not what I mean. That is not what I mean. And we, the jaw is such the place where we control our emotions. So I think that that's why that came through in your meditation. Resist the temptation to control your emotions, because that's when this turns into an iceberg, when we need it to be free flowing. All right, so allow whatever emotional tides are flowing through you at this time. And let me tell you, things are not linear, even though the spread looks very point A to point B. None of this is linear. Transformation processes are not linear. Just like a mood lamp or a mood ring, you know, they shift and bubble and turn, and suddenly it's pink and suddenly it's blue and then it's pink again. So you might be going back and forth a whole bunch between fire, water, fire, water, fire, water, fire, water. But try your best to allow a non-linear free flow to happen through your emotions. And if you find yourself stuck in one emotional space, follow the advice of this liminal space postcard and go take a walk. Go change your sensory experience in some way to see if that shifts your vibe. Okay, so Taurus, my loves, I'm going to continue to pull some cards here and see what comes next, see what else we can get some more clarity. If that is of interest to you, follow the links down below. If not, thank you for joining me here. I wish you the best of luck as we move forward into September. If this is resonating and you're enjoying my work, please click the like button on the video. It just helps us ride the algorithm of YouTube, and also click subscribe so we can stay connected. Okay? Thanks for listening, Taurus. Take care of yourself through this, and I'll talk to you soon.